Okay, so number 4 is really hot off the press, and I actually was kind of wondering whether I put it in this pot or in the roadmap set. But this is actually something that we've got configured now, and we're just refining. What this allows you to do, so a number of clients use CoreStream for third-party risk, and that might involve completing kind of questionnaires. How well do you do cyber? How well do you consider kind of things like ABAC, et cetera, et cetera? What we're looking to do is try and kind of simplify that process wherever we can. So this Black Kite integration is an example of that. So within CoreStream, you can upload a series of documents. So that might be your cyber policies, procedures, processes, whatever it might be. You upload those into CoreStream just as you kind of normally would. We then send that to Black Kite. Black Kite will then assess that documentation against your chosen standard. So that might be ISO, it might be NIST, and it will then return, how well are you doing at the control level based on your documentation. So it will give you that kind of document score automatically. It will also return, oh, and by the way, here's the gaps. So here are the actions that you should now work on, which, I think when Paul first told me about this, I was kind of like, wow, that is incredible, because it's such a shortcut of what would otherwise be a fairly kind of lengthy process to review all of that documentation and to assess those controls individually. As I say, this is we can demo this now. It takes about 30 plus minutes for it to do the assessment, so the demo can be a little bit boring, but probably something that we'll stage before we join those sessions.
So is Black Kite like an AI capability?
Yeah, it's a vendor in the cyber risk space, and it is AI. So what essentially happens is when you upload the documents into CoreStream as let's say you're a supplier of your organization, they upload it to say, here's my SOC 2 27001, my ISMS, and so forth. We pass those documents over to the Black Kite API. It parses them, so it doesn't store them, discards the document. Once it's got the parsed content, it then essentially is using an NLP, an AI, to basically then read it and then match it off against the various standards, and then say the degree of conformance to the standards. So if you've got a SOC 2 report, what's its coverage? Does that then map off against NIST CSF2, for example, and then return? Now, it's got a lot of other stuff, because it's also got vulnerability data and loads of other stuff that we can pull back from Black Kite as well. So it's your equivalent to security scorecard, BitSight, plus it's got this AI capability.
But is it still ring-fenced as your instance of Black Kite as opposed to...
There are two options you can use. This is the interesting thing, is if you're using suppliers, then does it need to be ring-fenced? Because they're passing that to everybody as evidence anyway. And what's interesting is with Black Kite, you can do it as a ring-fenced instance, but you actually lose a lot of value compared to their normal instance. Because essentially, if, let's say you're buying services off Dell, 100 other customers will have done the same thing against Dell, and it's retained all of that content, so it just keeps adding and adding, and then essentially bringing you the conformance back of Dell as a supplier.
Absolutely, but you'll have contractual obligations with that third party not being able to send their data to someone else, so therefore that's...
So there's ones you have to look at depending on how you want to do it, yeah.
Yeah, and you might say if you're not using the ring fence one, you only ask them to submit things that might be publicly available. But yeah, so you've got options.
I think this is the case, but the system would contact or email suppliers directly to request the information rather than having to go through us to
exactly.
Yeah,
it would. So just in the same way as we issue a questionnaire now.
Yeah, I was about to say exactly the same thing. Same way as we'd issue a third-party risk questionnaire. Do you have policies? Yes, upload them. And essentially, what you're doing then is taking those attachments and then using the AI capability there to score those attachments against your framework. They can also, if you push your questionnaire to Black Kite, they can also pre-populate the questionnaire based on the evidence provided by the third party, and then telling them, here's the 10 remaining questions that's not in your evidence. And that's an interesting one as well.